What's going on, you guys? It's Dragoon here, and making a video that I've kind of been wanting to save for another time. I was hoping to make this video when I actually got back and I had all the cards in hand and kind of showed you guys this way, but I figured why not actually just show you guys what we've got going on right now. So this is the deck I've been playing around with in my spare time for a little while now, and it's an updated Elemental Hero deck because, as you guys may or may not know, I can't stop playing Elemental Heroes. It is my favorite deck. It's the deck I have the most fun with, and if I want to play the game, I want to be having fun. So that's just kind of how it's working for me. And so, with that being said, before we jump right into the deck profile, just a fair warning. Japan has a way of really getting to me. Like, I've been feeling rather ill for a little while now, and I think it's just because the seasons are really starting to change. It's kind of like, in the area that I'm in, fall was pretty much skipped. We went from very hot to very cold quite rapidly. So, it doesn't bode well for me, especially considering I have allergies and stuff like that. So if I sound kind of weird, well, that's why. And if I stop to drink some water, that's what's going on. So just a heads up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. So first card is Photon Thrasher. I talked about this in every hero deck. It's one of my favorite cards. It just allows you to get that extra summon, and 2100, 4 stars, exceeds whatever you need it to do. New addition to Heroes is Card D. Now, I put in 2 Card D because I needed, like I've said before, something to do what Stratos did, in a way at least. And what Stratos did that was really important for me was a +1 and a little bit of a speed boost. And that's what Card D does, although he does it as a cost. I mean, you do end up having to skip your turn in a way, and it's not the best thing in the world, but believe it or not, it does get the job done. It's really nice to open with, about 3 traps or so at least. Summon Card D. Preferably before you Card D, you go Duality and don't reveal too much of what you're playing, but you Duality into something that you could use for later, and then card and draw 2 cards. So it's actually really, really nice because you gain, just like I said, that ability to dig into your deck, and it's been working quite well. So moving right along, we've got 3 Elemental Hero Neo's Alias, which is pretty much the backbone of the deck in my opinion. One of my favorite cards in general. There's not much to say. And we're having 3 Bubble Man. So essentially, Bubble Man and Alias are buddies again. Stratos no longer being around, so they're just the dynamic duo, I guess you could say. They work quite well together, actually. A lot better than I had expected when I was just kind of toying around and putting things together. They really do work rather nicely, and what's awesome about this build is I've gotten the effect with Bubble Man to draw 2 cards. When I have no other cards, I've resolved it so many more times than I have in any other build in the past. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it is quite fun, so I enjoy doing that. So yeah, Bubble Man's still really good because he allows you to go ahead and special himself, and you can OTK, which is still very, very prevalent. I really like OTKing with this deck. I've done it many times, even on my first turn when I'm going second, and it's just a really, really great ability to have. Card D does kind of get in the way of that, but it's not super duper bad to where it doesn't, you lose games because of it. Generally, you open Card D, you get yourself set up, and you move on. So onto the spells, I've got Reinforcement of the Army. Obvious, pretty basic. Like I said before, I like to go for Photon Thrasher with that card because I've just got so many other things for the heroes themselves. We've got 3 Pots of Duality. Pot of Duality has always been very good in e-heroes. It's not going to change, I don't think. It's just a great card. Like I said, comboing a Card D, just digging into what you need, speeding the deck up. That's very, very important in order to make the deck continuously relevant. 3 Gemini Spark, I've already talked about this, one of my favorite cards in the game. So versatile, so reactive. Just, if I'm not drawing into Gemini Spark, I am personally not comfortable, so big favorite of mine. Just buddies right there, Alias and Spark. And then we've got 3 Emergency Call. It works really, really well with Bubbleman. Just improves consistency in general. It's just a great card. Pretty much free special summons with Bubbleman all the time if you can work it out the way you want it to. But in general, really good. Every now and again, I've had times when it'll, unfortunately, I'll draw into these guys, and then this becomes dead late game. But the way the deck kind of works is you don't want to get too late into the game because you really only do have about 7 monsters, and that's this guy included. So you got to be kind of careful. We've got 1 Dark Hole, 3 Miracle Fusion, way too good to be not playing 3. You really want to get to what you need as quickly as possible. Like, because the deck has a low monster count, Miracle into Shining is so integral because you need to get his effect off and put the guys back into your hand. Obviously, you're going to want to bubble in an Alias together most of the time is what I like to do because it just gives me 2 different cards for any 2 given situations in case I draw cards to combo with them. I have 1 Super Polymerization. I don't feel like 2 is quite as necessary. It's like there aren't as many cards in which it becomes like fantastic against. I mean, the card's great, even though you do have to discard a card. There's just other ways around it, and I don't like having to feel like I'm wasting cards sometimes. I mean, it's a great card, and it's great when you can discard things that you don't need, like a card D. It pretty much makes it costless in a way. So really good. I side a second one, but I just play 1 in the main deck. And then I have 2 Mask Change to round out the fusion cards. Mask Change is doing very, very well. In the last build I showed you guys a few months ago, I only had 1, but I upped it to 2 because I found myself being able to, with the addition of the 3rd Bubbleman, just combo out a lot more. Bubbleman plus Mask Change, destroying 3, 4 cards. It's a serious, serious game changer when you can do that with Acid's effect. I can't tell you how many games I've had when I Mask Change Bubbleman into Acid and I destroy 4 cards, and my opponents will just quit right then and there because it's so detrimental. Really great, especially if you use Mask Change with Absolute Zero. Provided nothing goes wrong, it wipes your opponent's entire field and leaves them open to be hit for 2600 direct damage. So it's a very, very good, roughly 2-card combo provided everything is set up properly. And the last spell card of the deck is 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. I just put this in the other day, actually. It used to be Forbidden Lance, but I switched to Space because Lance just wasn't needed, I guess. Like, Bubbleman's way too weak, and you're going to want to combo Alias with Gemini Spark most of the time. So Lance just really isn't that great in the deck, in my opinion, and I found myself just wanting to space my opponent's set cards. I wanted to just hit something. I wanted to hit their field spell, and I just couldn't do that with Forbidden Lance. So I took it out, put it in the side, and put in 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. I don't like only playing 1, to be honest. I kind of would want to play 2, but the fact that I have Mask Change does kind of make up for it. Because, like I've said before, Acid is essentially Harpy's Feather Duster. It's just, the fact that you have to have 2 cards. But generally, things are fine. 1, it's working out, surprisingly. So, onto the traps. We've got 1 of all the super good ones. 1 Warning, 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device. And then I play 1 Hero Blast because the card's really good. It's a +1 if it goes off properly, generally at least. And it's not too hard to get Alias in the graveyard. Like I said, with the low monster count, once he's there, this just allows you to reuse him and get your monster back. But there are times when it's dead, and it's kind of frustrating when you do that. Like, you end up having to miracle your Alias away, and you just have the dead Hero Blast sitting there. But the card's really solid, and it's a pretty decent replacement for only having the 1 Bottomless, because you can use it right when they summon, and it's always a deadly combo. You can Spark and Hero Blast as a combo, you can do those together. It's really good in tandem. So we've got 2 Breakthrough Skill next. You need to be able to negate monster effects. Like, previously they didn't matter too much, but we have less that we work with now, and I know the card is bad in like the dragon matchup. It's really, really not that great. I side it out most of the time, but it helps a lot against a variety of decks, especially like you can break through like Ophion, and if they don't have the pandemic card, it allows you to use all your fusion cards, because Ophion hurts. Like, it locks out 5 of your cards. It doesn't seem like it would hurt quite as much on the surface, but it really does, because Miracle Fusion is just so important. Even though, like I said, the deck can exceed summon, but it becomes really a pain. So I like Breakthrough Skill in the sense that I can use it in essence twice, so that's kind of nice. And I play 1 Fiendish Chain. I thought about doing 1 Breakthrough Skill, 2 Fiendish Chain, but I only have 1 Fiendish Chain in real life, so I'm just kind of testing with the cards that I actually own, and 1 is working out really well. It's just nice to stop attacks and, of course, stop effects, so I don't have any problem with that. I only played 1 previously, so keep going with what works, I suppose. We have 2 Mirror Force, as well as 2 Dimensional Prison for when our opponents attack us. Works out really nicely, actually, because you just protect your guys a lot, and like I said before, with the traps being streamlined, you got to play like as much of the good stuff as you can, and these cards are definitely very good in a variety of situations. You can, like, it's kind of lame if when your opponent makes like a big eye or something like that, and you've got this Mirror Force or something sitting face down, and then they get their effects and they hurt you. But like, in general, if you can do stuff to stop them with this beforehand, it works out very nicely. So, I don't know, always good cards. And the last trap card is 7 Tools of the Bandit. I really like this card right now, actually. It saved me quite a few times. Paying the 1,000 is not a huge cost, and you just go ahead and negate warning, negate anything that might stop you from OTKing, just negate a lot of stuff, and I really like using the card. It's always nice to have a counter trap, in my opinion. So if you don't like this, you can replace it with whatever you want. But I'm liking this. I always, like I said before, like to use defensive in some way, shape, or form. You can see the extra deck. I won't really talk about it too much, because I do think extra decks are kind of based on where you're going to be playing, when you're going to be playing, what the format is. I'm not in America. I don't know what the format is. I haven't played in a tournament in a long time, so I just have a general one for what I expect I might see on here, but that's that. So the extra, I've got 2 Shining, 1 Absolute Zero, 1 Nova Master, 1 Great Tornado, 1 Escuridao, 1 Gaia, and then 2 Acid. So pretty standard for E-Heroes, with the exception of the Acids, but I've already explained why those guys are super good. And for the XCs, I have 1 Excalibur, 1 Blade Armor Ninja, 1 Maestro, the Symphony Jin, 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. So a bunch of really good cards that I've talked about before. I don't really feel the need to jump into them too much, but they're all great. I mean, like I said before in other profiles, Abyss Dweller is really good because you can just use Bubbleman and boost him up by the 500, and he becomes so much better. So, with that being said, this is the deck I've been playing around with. I really, really hope I can keep it going and keep it strong once the next format comes along, and I'll definitely be sure to update you guys on how things change when the next format comes. Who knows? They may not change at all, because they may not do anything that we can actually do to adjust. But I mean, if the format itself changes, what we're playing, there may be some different inside changes. But as far as ban list stuff goes, this could be exactly the same kind of framework that we'll see in a little over a month. So I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy the deck. I know that I've been having a lot of fun with it. And so leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch you later.